we will figure out if Germany can take map number 5, or it's the underdog. The Spanish team going into the final. There we go with pick and bans.
Yeah, we are in the back and ban. Violet coming through in at the beginning here as the first ban, and Malik to respect that with. It's great to see these respect bans coming through for both of these teams.
This is actually the first time we haven't seen Zephyr's be banned out, and it's a little bit curious. And it does
Zephyr's was in game 2 as well.
You're right. Judino first picking it regardless here, and we also do see kind of interestingly, because the Violet's banned out, Hawkeye is going to be able to first pick Raz.
Yeah, that is Raz and Zil coming through. That is a deadly combo for the German side. But with the predictions, I'm going to have to say, you know what? Thus far, we had the games go Spain, Germany, Spain, Germany. Spain's going to take it because this is how the pattern goes. And they have the first pick. They have a great team composition already.
Well, I can't wait to be right as we do continue with the banning phase. Last game, I think we saw the closest pick ban phase so far. We were able to get to the end of it and say neither team's gotten what they want. This far, well, it's a bit of a risk, but I think Germany's winning this pick ban phase. They seem to have basically everything they'd want. They have that Zane, they do have the Oromar, which has been what Hawkeye has been running. They've got their favorite mid lane Raz, and they have the much sought after Zil.
That is definitely true. They have a lot of good characters, but at the same time, you have to consider the fact that the Spanish team have a really strong team in its own. They have L'Oreal, a really great mage. We've seen ReZero play out of his mind in that character. We see Chikitin on Crashed, which is one of his better characters. And it's great to see him being the monster once again for the Spanish side in a time of need.
Well, it's our grand final. Both mages are playing their favorite mage. All the marksmen are playing their favorite marksman, and both tanks are playing their favorite tanks. I mean, it's the final. It's map 5. What more could we ask for?
Not a 30-minute game, hopefully.
You know, no, 40 minutes.
No,
Come on, Germany. We're going 50 minutes at the very least.
We need to double that. We need to go 60 minutes. We're going to be here for an hour casting an exciting arena Valor game. Get like 5 or 6 Dark Slayers in one game and crush like 20 Abyssal Dragons in the same run. But we are finally having the picks on the screen for you guys at home to figure out who's on what character.
Chikitin, of course, running that Crash. Keep an eye on both him and Bodycart, because they're both running their favorite tanks, and both of these players, I think, are some of the better tank players in the game. Azure over on Team France is also up there, but he's very, very aggressive. Both these players tend to be a bit more passive, really defining great space for their team.
Azure is a kind of interesting dice to roll because he switched from an AD carry role into support role. So he hasn't had maybe as much practice as a support like Chikitin or Bodycart, but at the same time, every game that he's done, he's looked so fantastic on that support role. So I think you're definitely right there. I think having your favorite character here is definitely one of those things that can help these teams.
Well, let's see. It's game 5, and the first match of the evening. We still have the grand final. We still have the entire rest of this non-pro tournament finals to come. And well, to decide who will be in that grand final, we have one more map of play.
Yeah, we are looking at 2-2 for both of these teams. But an awesome alliance game. Both of these teams starting off slower this time than all the previous games thus far, as they are gonna look for their own jungle rather than go for anything kind of risky or aggressive.
Yeah, this is one of the most passive starts we've seen so far. Interestingly, Spain's winning the bottom lane push because Bodycart isn't here. Now, Low Fire will come down to join Memorized and Bodycart. They'll have a 3-man lower lane, and they're using this to lock out the Soul Dragon, gain a bit of scout. They know Hawkeye is going to win top lane. This is a very standard opening from Germany. In fact, I would say suspiciously normal for them.
Suspiciously normal game here that we have ourselves, as we are ReZero on the mid. Now we have 38 seconds until Spirit Sentinel. Happy is gonna fall lower. One more artifact's gonna do it, but Happy doesn't fall. The mobility that Aerie has with those dashes, can use it 3 times in a row, is really insane getting out of those sticky situations. But I was gonna say 23 seconds until Spirit Sentinel, and this is what the teams are gonna focus on.
And it is significant Yes, Happy survived, but he did have to completely recall. This means that minion push will come through. That's going to be a little bit of damage coming through onto that top lane tower. It's going to change up the pace of things. So even though no kill came out of it, it did gain a little bit of control and a tiny little advantage there for Germany.
Yeah, you can definitely see it on the gold as well in 1 to 200. But as I was saying, Spirit Sentinel, this does come up now. Spanish side focusing and grouping their forces around that. German side are going to keep them busy. Meanwhile, down at the bottom lane, there's going to be 2 clash, and he's going to jump in. We have the Zephys, or not Zephys, sorry, Zill jumping into the midst of the enemy team, but Darkbreaker, there's no way you're getting out of this one. Chicken cleans up the kill.
I believe they did deny the Spirit Sentinel though, so even though Germany lose a player, they do still get the money. Now the problem is, they have lost a player, and this Abyssal Dragon is up. I like what Memorized and Bobby Carter are doing though. They're saying, man, we might not have this, but we'll pull down, we'll push this bottom lane, and that forces kind of a split here from Spain. They need to choose. Do we go for the Abyssal Dragon with 3 people? And if they do, there is a chance for it to be stolen. Here's Bobby Carter.
They have enough damage as well to punish on that. Lil, actually, Lil doesn't have it. They secure it, which was great, but Lil didn't have punish, so that was kind of a risky play in that sense.
That rocket was the most terrifying Joker rocket I've seen in ages. It came maybe a second too late to steal that. However, Hawkeye will be still grinding away at the top lane. Keep an eye on that as we do have action down in the bot lane. This is what Hawkeye does. In an ideal game for Germany, even if they're losing objectives, he's just sitting up there in the top lane, pushing, finding tower damage, etc.
See, the problem is that usually Germans take a fight in Abyssal Dragon, and that buys Hawkeye time to take that tower down. This time around, Spanish team was so quick on that objective that Hawkeye didn't have any time to push down top.
He is taking a fight versus Happy again up there in the top lane. And you can see Happy already getting knocked down quite low. He does go ahead and get that Soul Dragon though, so that'll give him all he needs to be able to reassert dominance in that top lane.
Yeah, that is definitely true. Happy on that area once again, playing with the punish. I would expect double burn into Mail of Pain coming through for him once again for those team fights and errors. But I think, looking at last game, I don't want to call Happy out, but he wasn't doing as much as he's done previously on other characters.
Well, I wanna see the best game here at the grand final. RA, not one of Happy's stable characters. Is that fair to say?
Yes, that is true.
Typically, or for a long time in the EU meta, they've been either not picked or banned out. So the fact that we're now seeing an RA in the grand finals is maybe an adjustment.
It is a semi-finals of the grand finals. So
yes.
Confusing times for everybody because it's not grand finals. We are not going to decide the winner of DreamHack just yet with this game, but we are going to find who is going to progress into the grand finals here and be able to compete for that first place spot. But once again, the Spanish side looking for Spirit Sentinel.
They've got a lot of damage on it. I don't see a way to contest that. Indeed, there's Darkbreaker. He'll fall back, and
I'm not sure who get it because I think Lowfire was trying to contest it.
Yeah, but it did end up going to Spain, I'm pretty sure, and that does reward them with a little bit of a lead.
Yes, it is. It's a little.
They're now contesting down bottom for this Abyssal Dragon, and once again, there isn't really... maybe Bobby Cart can do it, but yeah, Germany's playing remarkably passive. Here comes Lowfire. This can get interesting.
The German rotation was a little bit slow now that the Spanish side have kind of backed away from the Abyssal Dragon. They have more time to group up and play as a cohesive unit, but I think the Germans were a little bit too split to contest that objective if Spanish would have gone for it hard.
And once again, that's not something Germany does a lot. They tend to be a very organized team. The fact we're seeing them as split up as they are right now is definitely worth noting.
Yeah, it is definitely something to keep in mind. As Lowfire is going to become under fire as he does escape narrow with the teeth on his skin, as he's going to be able to escape punches of death. But Spanish side instantly capitalize on that retreat, and they go for the Abyssal Dragon.
Again, locking it out. Last game they got 8-1. This game, they're looking set for 2-0. They do exactly that. Bobby Cart a little bit late on his King's Glory there on the thing.
Yeah, Bobby Cart not able to secure that objective. But the Spanish side now, they have about 1,200 lead in this game. Do you think that they need to find a little bit more rotations down onto the bottom lane, onto Memorize to shut him down?
I would say Spain needs to be very careful here. If they get over aggressive, Germany's not that far behind, and they typically do pull ahead in the mid game. So play it safe, get to the late game. Spain, I think, had this in the bag.
Every time Spain has gone hard into the late game stage, they've kind of lost the game. So the question is, does Spain really want to go for the late game? Because every time the game has stalled down, Germany's gotten a sneaky win, basically.
I don't see the way that they manage to blitz through Germany right here. I think if they try and just force fight after fight, they're going to start losing.
That is true. forcing fight after fight is not the ideal strategy, but I think with a small lead, turning it into a bigger lead is something that Spanish team definitely have to look for.
Well, this is exactly the steps they need to take. Lock out the Spirit Sentinel, and they do. Now, what do you do from here? Well, Valor and the rest of Germany are quite content to keep sitting behind their towers because they know they've got that bottom lane push going through, and actually, they might have the tower.
Glory is going to land onto Judinho as they finally claim the tower. So German side, once again, starting strong in the tower game.
Top lane, Happy is winning out of the fight. He's been struggling for a while. Hawkeye will need to play from behind the tower, but he's perfectly content doing that. No real damage has been taken, which means they can return to the regularly scheduled programming and challenge mid again.
Oh, Spanish side looking for the gank. Jump over the wall by Lil is a little bit anticlimactic there as the German side are able to back off and disengage from that fight.
Look at the goal, around 2,000 difference for both teams, and I think that's a sign of just how well these two teams have been playing thus far. This game is not by any means decided, and Happy does take massive damage actually for the Joker ultimate and the King's Glory, but neither one is enough to kill him. Both him and Chickatin will need to play carefully. The fact they've fallen so far back will make things interesting. There's Metamorphosis for an engaged though.
Into an arrow of KS1, initiation card, then the Zill ultimate comes through, but Bobby Cart's gonna follow. Hakai is falling lower and lower. Darkbreaker hasn't found any response kills. Hakai's gonna try to find a kill, he doesn't. But in the end, they do claim the life of ReZero anyway, so it's 2-for-2 exchange right now. Happy's gonna come in, and so will Zephys. Lil looking for those kills. Memorize is gonna fall. Darkbreaker falling low. Happy doesn't find the auto attack necessary to claim the kill, and suddenly it's 4-for-3 in this exchange.
This is one of those fights I was talking about on the desk at the end of the last game. Nobody's really won this. Both teams traded about evenly. The kills now even, the gold's about even. Nobody has enough players left at the end of it to gain a massive advantage in map control. So neither one really wins, and that's acceptable to both teams.
The gold difference stays the same that it was before this engagement, so nothing really, no gold switching hands there in terms of that way, but we're gonna see Happy taking down that jungle camp, rotating back up top to try to fight Hakai, but I think it's a little bit dangerous because Happy is really low.
Hakai, very, very confident here, as he always has been. This dragon will be threatened again by Spain, and nobody's here to contest this.
I'm having deja vu moments here.
Top. The reason they're not contesting Abyssal Dragon is because look at that effort from Germany. The question is, can they get back to bot before they lose another tower?
They are going to take that tower down. ReZero is already going to back. They only need kind of Judinho here for this fight, but I think the German side are going to claim another tower, possibly go for a high ground push if they so as well, please. But they're not going to attempt it. Actually, they might. This might be a little bit of a base race. I think the Spanish side need to back out from this. The German side are going to go hard onto this tower.
They need to recall.
Is going to stay in the bottom lane. He's going to take the second tower. But the German side did the damage. They've gotten the entry into the base, and that's what really matters.
That is massive. You sacrifice one Abyssal Dragon and you get a high ground tower. Germany have got to be incredibly pleased with that. They only lost 2 towers in response, and that high ground tower, of course, is worth at least 8 towers in and of itself, because now there's super minions constantly threatening and winning that lane. You don't need to do any work. It is a threat. And if Germany can play off of that, well, the game looks in their favor.
I think the high ground tower is really impactful objective in the sense that if you get it late game, it doesn't have a huge impact on the way that the game kind of goes, because, well, the minions are going to push, but they're not going to so hard push. But at the same time, getting it this early in, that's really huge because you can start to gain a lot of map control.
So, Spain go for an early initiation here. This is very risky, particularly because the entirety of Germany is here. Here's a Metamorphosis though from Chickatin.
Yeah, Chickatin's going to be in the front line. Zill ultimate does come through. Darkbreaker's going to be in the midst of 3 enemies. Bobby Cart's falling lower and lower. ReZero is going to be focused down. Darkslayer is still in a fight. He's looking for action as he finds some. Chickatin is going to be focused by Lowfire and Memorize. He's going to miss the killing joke, but it doesn't even matter because Chickatin is a little bit too tanky, but he's going to go down in the end anyway. Lil finds a response. It's 4-for-4 exchange right now. Will Lil find a kill? He won't find a kill. Memorize cleans it up, and that's an ace for German side.
Typically in this situation, I'd say it's a nothing fight. The difference is there is one player alive for Germany, nobody alive for Spain. This gives Memorize free reign. Nobody will contest him. So because they're able to completely ace the other team, they're going to get a tower for free, and that is quite significant.
Yeah, Memorize is going to be able to get back as well. Claims tier 2 tower in the middle lane as well. Only one tier 2 tower left for the Spanish side. That is down in the bottom, and that is what I expect the German side really focus on next. German side have lost 2 towers, but they have all their tier 1s in the other lanes.
Yeah, and that is quite significant. It takes so much more effort for Spain to have access to the base. You're 1 high ground tower away. This looks like vintage German gameplay, and I am very, very pleased to see that.
Yeah, Spanish side are still ahead in gold. Even though they keep losing towers, 6 towers down for them, they somehow manage to find a farm and somehow keep their dream going to grand finals alive.
Of course, they need to do more than win the economy. They need to find the kills, they need to find the towers at some point. As of right now, Germany are looking good in Game 5. They're looking like they're going to be able to reassert control.
Yeah, it looks Germany is looking for the control on this map. A lot of Dark Slayer hover here,
yeah,
which is kind of weird from these teams that Germany's gonna go for it. That's a risky play. I wouldn't really do that if I was in the German side, because if you lose this fight, suddenly the game's 180 in Spanish favor.
Yeah, both these teams, they know Darkslayer could be a pivotal objective. I like what Spain are considering doing here. Because they spread out towards the Abyssal Dragon, they force the Germans to do the same, because losing an Abyssal Dragon could also be game deciding. So they forced everything to kind of spread out for a moment here, and that may be exactly what they need.
Back to same old for both of these teams, as we're gonna once again find a clump in the middle of the map next to the Dark Slayer pit. Both of these teams really focusing hard on Dark Slayer, but if we look at the experience, it's a little bit in favor of Germany because the fact that Darkbreak is already level 15. He has his kind of build already that he needs.
Here comes the Dark Slayer.
Yeah, the Dark Slayer is being attempted once again by Germany.
Yeah, Germany with already half HP on him. Lil will be here to scout though, and the fact that Lil and Happy are here forces the Germans to fall back. They don't complete the push.
Yeah, they're not gonna get the Dark Slayer. It's gonna get reset here as we are back to the same old poke wars in the middle lane right now, as Spain is gonna retreat for it. Now they're looking for another objective. Looks like Ares going down onto the bottom lane first tower.
The reason that both these teams are so skittish right now in what should be the mid game is because of how late that last game went. This is an extension. The tension from last game is making neither of these teams willing to take a major risk, and that means, well, we may be here for a while, as the Dark Slayer again is not going to be contested. Lil, that's a deep dive though. Bobbycart needs to hold.
Lil is going to jump in with an ultimate metamorphosis has been activated as well. Low Flare's going to go down. Hakai is killing Judinho on that backline. That is an important kill. They need to get it. Darkbreaker finishes it off, but the German players have lost their lives. Oh, ReZero is still alive. He's dealing a lot of damage. Darkbreaker is falling lower and lower. Hakai is suddenly in trouble, and just like that, Spanish team have claimed 4 lions and only lost 2 of their own.
And that is massive. Nobody's got the HP to challenge this Dark Slayer. However, I'd like to see Spain focus on the Abyssal Dragon. They're just winning the minion pushes for now. And oh no, this is what we were talking about. The super minions win the top lane push. They are threatening the base. Somebody needs to go back to deal with it. They're not going to be able to challenge Dark Slayer with 3 people because of that, and they will have to just settle for an Abyssal Dragon. Is helpful still for Spain, but it's by no means the game-deciding fight that could have been.
The problem is that even if they had those 3 4 alive and tried to go for Dark Slayer, they still couldn't have, because they do not have Judinho. Judinho died in that fight.
Oh,
the
yes.
AD carry. They don't have the damage necessary. They don't have the DPS to burst down Dark Slayer, and that's, I think, a key factor in what's keeping this game looking so good for the German side. They didn't lose any objectives from the back of this fight, even though the fight went really horribly for them.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a favourable fight by them, but they're still able to more than keep in it. Here comes effort again here from Chickerton. Once again, the Dark Slayer is still a point of interest for both these teams. Whoever wins this Dark Slayer will likely get a tower, if not more. And that could be game deciding this early on, so both these teams are unwilling to give it up. Chickerton and Lil hovering around, looking for something, anything they can pick up.
Yeah, Spanish side has to find something here. They have the better initiation team in that sense, but at the same time, the counter initiation that the German side has is really insane as well. So I think both of these teams have a certain clear strategy for those team fights. I would guess it's Happy jumping in for the Spanish side into Chickerton's metamorphosis, because that's what we've seen thus far from these teams. But at the same time, we see Hakai going for the backline. I don't necessarily agree with it, because I think Hakai doesn't have that much damage just yet. I would like the German side to actually go back and defend their own carries rather than try to take the enemy backline out.
Hakai, speaking of taking out carries, will be threatening Happy here, but Not for long, you have a nice group heal coming through, so this should be an effort here by Spain. They're going to pressure this top tower, and I don't agree with this, because you have the entire German team. They're going to be able to play from well within the safety of the tower. It comes down to the metamorphosis here for Chikitin for me.
Yeah, and Chikitin is going to be the key player to watch for the couple of next fights. I think Happy as well as Lil initiation is important as well, but the metamorphosis that's coming through from Chikitin is the key factor in what we are looking at. But we're going to see the item builds right now. Once again on area, I think it was double burn coming through for her. It's an insane build in the sense that you deal so much damage from the burn damage of sticking to a target.
Again, though, we saw the power of a minion push. In the mid lane, you may or may not have caught it, but Germany just quietly won that minion push, and that meant that you had to see Spain fall back. They had to address it, and that lost them what looked like a threatening top lane attempt.
Yeah, that is definitely true. 15, level 15 all across the board besides supports for both of these teams, which is...
Hey, Envision,
yes.
Are we going 30 minutes again?
I have no idea. We're closing into 17 minutes. It's looking rather like the last game. Lil is going to be focused down here. He's going to get a little bit of poke, but the character that Zeph is every time you take damage, you become more tanky, so he's going to take less and less damage from these. But I think the Spanish side, they have to be careful that they don't get poked before the fight.
Chikitin and Happy, they'll fall back and play carefully. Again, both these teams, especially after the last game going 30-something minutes, are very, very careful, right? They don't want to take a silly risk because we are now at the point where one silly risk could absolutely end the game. More so for Spain, given that their base is open, but definitely on the board here for Germany as well. Whoever takes this Dark Slayer might very well have victory.
This Dark Slayer is... I would guess he's afraid for his life. He has 10 people around him constantly. There's no way that he feels safe in that pit with so many players around him. But yeah, I think Spanish side are a little bit more in danger in the sense that German push can come at any time after they lose a fight. And considering the fact the top lane is wide open, the minions themselves will push over time. So if Germany wins a fight and the Spanish team hasn't pushed out top, I think it could end.
Again, Happy, he goes a bit, I say, too bold. He's able to get out, they'll go for the Sage Golem, and oh my god, that was rude. Sage Golem didn't have a hope.
Yeah, it didn't. Getting ganked by the Spanish side, going full out onto that Sage Golem had no chance to survive that. The Spanish are once again looking for what I would say is their initiation. I think Happy going this aggressive is the way that they want to play this fight. Metamorphosis on 2 people as Akai did jump into it, but this is looking so good for the Germany. ReZero is falling lower and lower. Lowfire is doing all he can, and now Chikitin changes focus. Lowfire has finally fallen. 3 from the side of Spain have fallen as well. Germany only losing 2 members themselves. Lil is still fighting this out. How is he alive? He's gonna find the knockup and the kill! God. Insane play from Lil. He's gonna find a kill, and they're gonna find a push in the middle lane because Lowfire has to back out.
I think that could have been game. That could have easily been game, but the fact that Lil's managing to hold on with that little HP does buy them a path back into the game. They will win the mid-tower push. Chikitin claiming that as Lowfire has to retreat given his low HP. He'll recall to the base. They're minus a tower, and actually, Chikitin, if he plays his cards right, might be able to get a high ground.
Yeah, Chikitin is going to have to be careful though because Lowfire deals a lot more damage than him, as well as the mobility that Roz has is definitely one of the impactful things in Roz's kit. The fact that you can stick on a target pretty consistently.
Dark Slayer coming through here for Lil. We kind of flagged this ages ago as potentially game declining. Now, especially so. Nobody's here to contest, and if you actually look, the entire team is respawned, which means the entirety of Spain is about to get the Dark Slayer buff. If there's going to be a contest, he needs to come through now. Lowfire's right here. He's too little, too late, and Spain now have the Dark Slayer buff.
That is true. They have the buff, but they need to turn it into an objective. They can't just have the buff. They need to find a tower up top or in the middle, possibly even down bottom. That would be the high ground tower. I would guess Germans would switch a little bit more focus down onto defending bottom though.
I think the smartest play here from Spain is to contest that bottom tower. Instead, they're just looking for pickups, and again, as we near the 20-minute mark, naturally have passed it at this point, gold begins to mean less and less.
We are at 21 minutes in already, again, in this best of 5 series. This is the last game, the match point for these guys. Whoever wins gets to go to grand finals. And Spain right now is looking a little bit shaky, but they've brought it back from the brink of death basically because Germans are so good at pushing, but they are unable to finish the game in the mid game.
The Germans now have definitely lost an advantage. The Dark Slayer buff is still active. It won't be for much longer though, so I do think the Spanish team do need to do something if they're going to do something with it, but they're very horribly split here. Happy's under pressure from Hawkeye, and there's a full effort in bottom lane.
Hawkeye can't win this 1v1 in a long game because his team needs him. Because of the way the Spanish team plays and the impactful heroes that they have down in the bottom lane, the tower's falling lower. ReZero cannot fall on that L'Oreal right now. They need to back off.
Good hold.
Let ReZero just take the regen of this buff, as Dark Slayer is gonna time out now, and the Spanish side only find one tower up top with it.
The fact that Germany do manage to hold on as much as they do is massive. Dark Slayer buff is over. They survive potentially a game-ending pickup. Yes, they've fallen further behind in gold, but that, once again, almost doesn't matter at this point. I want to see more aggression from Spain in the future in a situation like that, because it does feel like they had a massive opportunity and they didn't properly capitalize.
I think Spanish team needs to split push this out. If you look at how the minimap is set up right now, down in the bottom lane, the high ground tower is so low. One person split pushing that lane will mean that the high ground tower will most likely fall, and then other 4 members pushing in the top or in the middle lane will keep the rest of the German resources busy there. So I think there's a potential to split push this out and gain an advantage that way.
Look at how carefully Germany's playing. All grouped up here. All convertical, one player happy. Once again, maybe he made a little bit of a mistake. He needs to get as far away from there as he can, and by the time he has, well, the Germans have regrouped. They'll be contesting here in mid.
Happy was about to be unhappy in that top lane, but he's gonna find the tower, which is gonna be some redemption for the Spanish side. He claims the life of that tower had no chance with the minions helping him out. As the Spanish side now looking for possibly a fight here. They still need to claim the middle tier 2 tower if they want to have the map for themselves. Because you look at how the map has developed, Spanish side have taken basically a full control of the enemy jungle.
If Spain win this is a massive upset. They're not looking terrible here. I've said it so many times though, I'm scared to make predictions for the match, because all it takes is one slip up, as we've seen so many times over. Germany 2-2 tied up with Spain. Winner goes to the grand final.
Do you have a coin that we could flip to see who wins this game right now? Because there's nothing separating these two teams. It's unbelievable. We can't predict 24 minutes in who's gonna take the game, which is kind of an insane thing.
Look at this Spanish push here on the bot lane. This tower's already really low. If they're able to just peek out for a moment, they'll be able to take down this tower, and that equalizes things. A high ground fallen, that would be massive.
It would be massive. We look at the items. It's 6 slotted for most of these guys, besides Bobby Cart, who is missing his item now. I believe Joker is going to switch to Ancestral Glory there to get that revive. We saw a lot of Ancestral Glories come out in the last game, and it's great to see Germany kind of prioritize that item on most of their carries as well, because stalling out the fights longer, that's a way you kind of win these fights, right?
Ancestral Glory, of course, is an item that does let you basically respawn with about 30% of your HP.
After 3 seconds, yes.
Yes. So that can be significant because the enemy team has to kill you twice. It isn't that hard because you come back in a predictable location with, once again, a third of your HP. But the fact that you do come back does sometimes throw teams through a loop, and maybe you can capitalize on it.
Yeah, in the middle of all of action that is happening in a team fight, you can get lost in the fact that maybe you don't notice that he has the Ancestral Glory up, so it might come into play. It's like, well, we have a guy behind us. How did that happen?
Yeah. So maybe we'll see that it is item. We're seeing a bit of play here, but it is, of course, the trade-off because it does not offer the defensive options of many other abilities or items that can be picked up for the same amount.
That is definitely true. It takes a little bit of defense out in terms of Mage Burst that you could have coming your way, but at the same time, I think the damage that he has right now is more than enough to compensate for the defense that he needs.
Again, Spain prowling around this top tower. They know they just need to break it, and if they can just barely maybe break through, they now have a window into the base. Germany. Ooh.
I was going to say, the incisiveness once again coming into play. They need to get Judinho Eagle Eye onto that tower, which they do now. So finally it's going to fall. But that tower should have gone so much quicker because of the fact that they can outrange these towers.
And once again, we've gotten to the point in the game where gold doesn't matter. Everyone has everything. The points no longer matter. And once again, I would say, this is a mistake for Spain. The fact they let it get this long when they had a definite lead does now mean Germany has a way back into the game that they didn't if they'd just been closed out on.
That is true, but at the same time, if you look at how these fights are developing, there's nothing separating these teams.
What's this German push?
It's backdoor attempt from Germany once again. Will Spanish find this out? Will they be able to redeem themselves? Oh, once again, the German side are looking for the backdoor. Spanish side are going to expect that, and they're going to return. They are not going to let it happen. Once again, Chikitin is going to find Bobby Cart, and there's no backdoor attempt this time around. We're 26 minutes in with Germans retreating from this battle.
I like this effort though by Germany. It forces a change of pace. It forces them to change how they're playing. It most importantly scares them off that top tower, which is once again vulnerable. Now though, they are much like Spain, constantly losing this minion push in top lane. Dark Slayer will be available. If Germany take this, they're easily back in the game.
Do you remember not so long ago, like 10 minutes, which is basically a game in Arena, Valor, we had the stalemate next to Dark Slayer with both the teams staying there for most of the duration that they were in, trying to gank each other.
Yeah.
I believe we're going to go to the same stage here because Dark Slayer is the impactful objective right now, because these guys are 6 slotted. The experience doesn't matter anymore, but the 30% damage buff is something that these guys are looking for.
27 minutes into game. As a reminder, Arena Valor matches typically take 10. Now, Dark Slayer has been picked up. Oh, that's a mistake.
Backdoor.
Oh,
Hakai is gonna fall down. Will the Spanish recognize the backdoor?
Oh,
Memorize
I don't think they
is
will.
gonna jump over the wall. He's gonna be slowed down. Memorize is tanking the base for now. Will he fall? He's gonna go down for the intensive glory. Terror of Chaos is gonna be there. The auto attack's the knockup's gonna be there. Will they find the end? Memorize spot. And Germans find the end. What a finish. There's not much more that could have happened. Germans with such a close victory here. It's absolutely insane to see them come again, once again coming through with the split push out of nowhere.
Germany, what on earth are you doing? That is not how you're supposed to play Arena Valor, and I don't think they